Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we are going to continue discussion of NCERT solutions from the chapter Some Basic Concepts of Chemistry. Let's get started with question number 1.31. How many significant figures should be present in the answer of the calculations as shown below? So there are three calculations that are given. You just got to tell how many significant figures could be present in the answers of these three calculations. So when you are answering this kind of questions, it's not necessary that you simplify the given expression. First of all, look for the least precise number. So out of the numbers that you have here, the least precise number is this 0.112. So the number of significant figures in the least precise number will be the number of significant figures in the answer also. So here in 0.112, totally how many significant figures do we have? We have three significant figures, this, and this. So totally three significant figures are there, which means the answer after simplifying this expression also will contain three significant figures only as per the rules of significant figures. Now similarly, look at the second question or second part of the question. It is 5 into 5.364. How many significant figures are possibly present in the answer of this expression? So now out of the two given figures 5 and 5.365, the least precise number is this 5.364. And in this number, how many significant figures do we have? We have four significant figures here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So because there are totally four significant figures, the answer also will be consisting of four significant figures. Now, the third part of the question. In the given expression, identify the least precise value. The value which is least precise over here is to be observed by observing how many decimal points are there in each of these numbers. Say for example in this, after point I have 4 figures and after point I have 4 figures, and here also after point I have 4 figures. So let me choose any of them. The number of significant figures is going to be 4 only, right? And now that's why in answer also, after simplifying this expression, the answer that we acquire also will contain 4 significant figures. So this is the number of significant figures possibly present in the answers of the given calculations. I hope you could understand that. Now moving on to question number 1.32. In question number 1.32, use the data given in the following table to calculate the molar mass of naturally occurring argon isotopes. So here you have been given three isotopes of argon, which is argon 36, 38 and 40, and their isotopic masses have been given. Their abundance also has been given. You got to calculate the average molar mass in fact. And I already gave you the formula to calculate average molar mass in part 2 of this video series. And once more, let us revise the formula and then let us simplify it. Average molar mass of any isotopic elements can be calculated like this. So the formula will be consisting of the molar mass of that particular isotope into the abundance of isotope plus molar mass of the second isotope into abundance of second isotope plus molar mass of third isotope into abundance of third isotope, and it goes on. In case you are having 10 isotopes for an element, the formula goes to 10. Say for example here for argon we have only 3 isotopes being spoken about, so I'm stopping the formula with 3 units. So let us substitute the values. Molar mass of first and abundance of first isotope. Molar mass of first isotope is 35.96 into abundance is 0.337%, right? Since it is percent, I'm writing it as 0.337 by 100 plus the molar mass of second isotope of argon into its abundance. 37.96 into 0.063 divided by 100, and the same is simplification, same is substitution for the third isotope as well. And when you simplify it, your answer will be 39.947, which is the average molar mass of argon. This formula is important, and this model question is also important, like calculate average atomic mass. It's an important model. You got to learn it perfectly. Let's move on to the next question. Number 1.33. Calculate the number of atoms in each of the following samples. First one is 52 moles of argon, second one is 52 units, atomic mass units of helium, and third one is 52 grams of helium. So there's a huge difference between atomic mass units and grams, and similarly there's a difference between moles and atomic mass units. So let us identify what the difference is and let us also calculate it. In the first case, they are talking about 1 mole of argon. 1 mole of any substance will be weighing equal to its own gram molecular mass, and it will be consisting of Avogadro number of particles, which is nothing but 6.022 into 10 power 23. So if I say 1 mole of argon, this 1 mole of argon will be consisting of Avogadro number of atoms, which is 6.022 into 10 power 23 atoms of argon. And its gram molecular mass is how much? The gram molecular mass of 1 mole of argon has been just calculated in the last question itself. But then in this question, they are not asking us to calculate the gram molecular mass. They are just asking us how many atoms are there in 52 moles. If 1 mole is consisting of Avogadro number of atoms, if I have 52 moles, how many atoms will be there? Cross multiply. 52 into 6.022 into 10 power 23 moles of atoms will be there. That is the answer. And you can simplify it further to acquire 3.131 into 10 power 25 atoms of argon. So this is about the first part of the question. And now in the second part of the question, they were talking about how many atoms are present in 52 atomic mass units of helium. So helium, when it comes to helium, 4 atomic mass units of helium is equal to 1 atom. As in 1 atom of helium will be weighing equal to 4 atomic mass units. And now you are talking about how many units? You are talking about 52 units of helium. So how many atoms will this be? Cross multiply again. 52 into 1 divided by 4, which in turn is nothing but 13 atoms of helium. And now going to the third part of the question. Third part was talking about how many atoms are present in 52 grams of helium this time. So 1 mole of helium is equal to 4 grams. 1 mole of helium is 4 grams, and this 1 mole of helium will be consisting of Avogadro number of atoms. So right now I'm talking about how many grams? I'm talking about 52 grams of helium will be consisting of how many atoms? Cross multiply 52 into 6.022 into 10 power 23 divided by 4. And when you simplify it, it's got to be 7.8 into 10 power 24 atoms of helium. I hope this is clear. Let's move on to the next question. But then, in case you're stuck, in case you're not able to identify or understand something, please do not hesitate asking your doubts in the comments below. So let's take the question number 1.34. A welding fuel gas contains carbon and hydrogen only. Burning a small sample of it in oxygen gives 3.38 grams of carbon dioxide, 0.690 grams of water, and no other products. The volume of 10 liters, which is being measured at SPP, of this welding gas is found to be weighing 11.6 grams. If this is the scenario, calculate the empirical formula, calculate the molecular mass of the gas, and also calculate the molecular formula. In this question, if you carefully have observed, they have given us some data about percentage composition and also about the products, about the mass of the products or grams of the products, and they are asking us to calculate the empirical formula of the reactants, that is welding gas. Let's see how to solve this question. The solution might look a little bigger in size, but then in fact it's not as complicated as we assume. So let us go one by one. First of all, since they are saying that the products are water in form of vapor and carbon dioxide, let's talk about the products first. So 1 mole of carbon dioxide will be weighing 44 grams. And 44 grams of carbon dioxide is consisting of 1 mole of carbon. The carbon in the formula is 1, which is 1 carbon or 1 mole of carbon, and the mass of this 1 mole of carbon is going to be 12 grams. So which in turn means that if I'm talking about 44 grams of carbon dioxide, it is consisting of 12 grams of carbon, right? Now in the question they are saying that you have how much? 3.38 grams of carbon dioxide. So you have 3.38 grams of carbon dioxide. In this 3.38 grams of carbon dioxide, how many grams of carbon would be present? Cross multiply. It will be 3.38 into 12 divided by 44. And when you simplify this, it will be 0.9217 grams of carbon. So this is the mass of carbon in 3.38 grams of carbon dioxide. So in the question they are saying that so much of carbon dioxide is released, right? So your products were CO2 and H2O. So now CO2 released is consisting of how much? Is consisting of 0.92 grams of carbon. So your reactant must be consisting of 0.92 grams of carbon. Now same thing is being done to H2O now. In case of H2O, 1 mole of H2O is 18 grams. And in 1 mole of H2O, how much hydrogen do you have? You have 2 grams of hydrogen. 2 hydrogen atoms are there, which is 2 grams of hydrogen. Now in the question they are saying that you have how much of water furnished? 0.690 grams of water furnished. So 0.690 grams of water will contain how much of hydrogen? Cross multiply 0.690 into 2 divided by 18, which in turn on simplification will give you 0.0767 grams of what? Of hydrogen is present. So now you have figured out the mass of carbon, mass of hydrogen. Now what about the mass of your reactant? So carbon and hydrogen are the only constituents of your compound. And who told us this? They have been saying the same in the question. The question says that the welding gas contain only carbon and hydrogen, right? So now if your products were 0.690 and 3.38 grams each, from the product composition you have calculated mass of carbon and mass of hydrogen. So sum the mass of carbon and mass of hydrogen to understand the total mass of your reactant, which is nothing but welding gas. This is the total mass of welding gas. Fine. So what did you calculate now? From the products and the weights on the products, you have calculated total mass of the welding gas. Okay. So now since you have calculated the mass of welding gas, now calculate percentage composition of carbon in that welding gas. How do we calculate this? It's very simple. Percentage composition has a formula. Percentage composition says that percentage composition of an element is equal to mass of the element into mass of the element divided by total mass of the molecule into 100. Say you're talking about percentage composition of carbon. It means the mass of the carbon in your compound, which is 0.9217, divided by total mass that you just have calculated into 100, which in turn will be equal to 92.32%. So your welding gas is consisting of 92.32% of what? Carbon. Similarly, calculated for hydrogen also. Percentage composition of hydrogen will be mass of hydrogen divided by total mass into 100. Mass of hydrogen is 0.0767 grams divided by mass of the total gas, total welding gas is equal to 0.9984 into 100. Simplify this to understand the percentage mass of hydrogen, which is 7.68. So now you have mass percentage of hydrogen. You also have mass percentage of carbon. Now you know the mass percentages. From here, you have to calculate what? You have to calculate the empirical formula. And how do you calculate empirical formula? We discussed 3 steps in one of our previous videos. Step 1, take the percentage composition and divide it by atomic mass. Say for example, I'm talking about carbon. Percentage composition is 92.32 divided by atomic mass of carbon. Answer is 7.69. Similarly, take percentage composition of hydrogen 7.38 divided by its atomic mass, which is 1. Answer is going to be 7.68. This is the first step. And what is the second step there? In second step, you have to identify the least value out of these two, which is 7.68, and divide both the answers by that least possible value. And when you do so, your answer will be 7.69 divided by 7.68 is to 7.69 divided by 7.68 divided by 7.69. More or less you will be having 1:1 ratio, right? So now 1:1 is the ratio of number of atoms of what? Number of atoms of carbon and hydrogen. So your empirical formula is going to be C into 1, H into 1, CH. CH is the empirical formula. So this is how we solve the question. I hope you have understood this, but in case you are stuck, let me quickly revise once more. You have been given a question in which you were told details about the products. They have given you details about CO2 and H2O which are furnished when a welding gas welding gas is undergoing combustion. So from here you have calculated the mass of carbon, from here you have calculated the mass of hydrogen, and using this mass of carbon and hydrogen you have calculated the mass of welding gas, and from here you have calculated percentage composition of carbon, percentage composition of hydrogen, and from using this data you have calculated the empirical formula. This is how you have done it. Fine. Let's quickly move on to the next question. Before we could go to the next question, we have to deal with the remaining parts of this question. We calculated empirical formula. What about the molar mass of the gas? What could be the molar mass of the gas, and how do we calculate molar mass of the gas? Is there a formula to calculate? Yes, there is a quick formula to calculate, because in the question they said that a volume of 10 liters of this welding gas has been taken, and the weight of this volume 10 liters is 11.6, isn't it? We know that 1 mole of any gas will occupy 22.4 liters. And now you are having 10 liters with you. How many moles will it mean? It means 10 into 1 divided by 22.4 liters, right? And now these many liters of gas is weighing how much? 11.6 grams as per the question. But usually 1 mole of a gas will be weighing equal to its gram molar mass, correct? But now you're having so many liters, 10 by 22.4 liters, weighing 11.6 grams. From here, what can we calculate? We can calculate like this. 10 divided by 22.4 liters of a gas is weighing 11.6 grams. So now, if it is 1 mole, which is 22.4 liters exactly, how many grams will it weigh? You can cross multiply 22.4 into 11.6 grams divided by 10 divided by 22.4. When you simplify all of this, your answer will be 26 grams. So 1 mole of this gas is weighing around 26 grams. I hope you have understood how to do this. Now, moving on to the third part of the question. The third part of the question says what? It's asking for the molecular formula of the gas. You now know the empirical formula and you are about to calculate the molecular formula. The relation between empirical formula and molecular formula is this. Molecular formula is equal to empirical formula into N, where N is equal to the molecular formula mass divided by empirical formula mass. What is the mass of molecular formula? Just now we have calculated the molar mass of the gas, right? Which is nothing but 26 grams. So I'm taking 26 grams over here. Divided by what is the empirical formula mass? We have calculated empirical formula. CH is the formula, right? So calculate mass from here. It is 13, 12 of carbon plus 1 gram of hydrogen. So now 26 by 13, which is equal to 2. The N value is equal to 2. Substitute the N value here, which in turn gives you molecular formula being equal to empirical formula was CH. Substitute N value 2, which is C2H2. Molecular formula is C2H2. We are talking about ethyne or acetylene so far. So this is another important modal question which can be expected in your exam, school exams. So now I hope you understood this. In case you have not, in case you have doubts, you know what you have to do. Please let me know your doubts in the comments. Now let's move on to the next question. Number 1.35. Calcium carbonate reacts with aqueous HCl to give CaCl2 and CO2. And the reaction is given over here. It's broken, but the reaction is CaCO3 plus 2HCl gives CaCl2 plus CO2. Right? And along with the CO2, you also have H2O being released. If this is the reaction, what is the mass of calcium carbonate required to react completely with 25 ml, note the units, 25 ml of 0.75 molar HCl? How to deal with this question? The very first thing that you got to do is write the balanced chemical equation. Have an idea of balanced chemical equation. Okay? And the second thing is decode the given data. What have they said? They have spoken about molarity. But whose molarity? Molarity of HCl, right? And they also have spoken about volume. But whose volume? This is also of HCl. You know the volume and molarity of HCl, correct? Then what do you need to calculate? You need to calculate the mass of CaCO3. So how much mass of CaCO3 will be required to react with 25 ml of 0.75 molar HCl if this is the balanced chemical equation? Okay. So now First thing that you got to do is understand what is 0.75 molar HCl. It means you have 0.75 moles of HCl present in 1 liter of water. And now, if you know the number of moles, if you also know the molar mass of HCl, what can you calculate from here? We can calculate how many grams of HCl literally is dissolved in 1 liter of water. If it is 0.75 moles, how much it is? We know that 1 mole of HCl is how much? 36.5 grams. Now I have 0.75 moles. How many grams will this be? It will be 0.75 into 36.5 grams. So 0.75 into 36.5 grams of HCl is present in 1 liter of water. On simplification, it will be 27.375 grams of HCl in 1 liter of water, which in turn means in 1 liter, which is 1000 ml of water, you're having 27.375 grams of HCl, right? So now you calculate amount of HCl present in 25 ml. If you have 27.375 grams of HCl in 1000 ml of water, now you're having how much? You're having only 25 ml of water as per the given question. How many grams will it be? It will be 25 into 27.375 divided by 1000. And when you simplify this, your answer is going to be 0.68. So now in this 25 ml of 0.75 molar HCl, how much HCl by mass do you have? You have 0.6844 grams of HCl. Okay. Now according to the balanced chemical equation, 100 grams of calcium carbonate is reacting with 2 into 36.5 grams of HCl. So right now, how many grams of HCl do you have? You have 0.6844 grams. How many grams of calcium carbonate can react? You just got to cross multiply. When you cross multiply, it will be 0.6844 grams of HCl into 100 divided by 2 into 36.5. You have to simplify, and when you simplify, your answer will be 0.9375 grams. So 0.9375 grams of calcium carbonate will be reacting with the given essentials of HCl, 25 ml 0.75 molar HCl. Fine. So I hope this is clear. Let's move on to the next question, number 1.36. Chlorine is prepared in laboratory by treating MnO2 with aqueous hydrochloric acid according to the reaction. This is balanced also. How many grams of HCl can react with 5 grams of manganese dioxide? You have a balanced chemical equation. It is a direct stoichiometric calculation. Let us see how to do this. So you're having how many moles? 1 mole of MnO2. 1 mole of MnO2 will be weighing how much? It will be weighing equal to 87 grams, which is 55 plus 2 into 16. Manganese 55 and 2 into 16 for oxygen. So 87 grams of manganese oxide is reacting with how much? 4 moles. 4 moles of what? It is reacting with 4 moles of HCl, right? So 4 moles of HCl is 4 into 36.5. 36.5 grams of HCl, right? So now in the question, what did they ask you? They were talking about how many grams of HCl can react with 5 grams of manganese dioxide. So you're now having 5 grams of manganese dioxide. How many grams of HCl can it react with? Cross multiply. 5 into 4 into 36.5 divided by 87. You got to simplify this, and when you simplify, your answer will be 8.4. So 8.4 grams of HCl can be reacted with 5 grams of MnO2. So this is about the NCERT solutions of the chapter Some Basic Concepts of Chemistry. This chapter is very, very important in case you're planning to have a good grip over other topics of chemistry. In case you have any doubts, please do let me know your doubts in the comments, and I'll see you in one other video. Until then, bye bye everyone.